Ever wonder why we all chase those little pieces of paper we call money? Well, let's dive into it. Money, in its essence, is a tool. It's a medium of exchange, making transactions smoother than a freshly waxed surfboard. Imagine trying to buy a new car with chickens. You'd need a truckload of them, and I'm not sure the dealership would be clucking with excitement over your poultry payment. Money is also a unit of account. It helps us measure and compare the value of goods and services. Imagine trying to figure out how many chickens a haircut is worth. I bet the barber wouldn't be thrilled to receive a feathery tip. Lastly, money is a store of value. It allows us to save and plan for the future. Ever tried storing value in chickens? It's not as exciting as it sounds, trust me. So without money, you'd have a hard time getting anywhere. Unless you have a lot of chickens, that is. But where did this all-important concept of money come from? Great question. Let's take a trip back in time, shall we? When our ancestors first settled into communities, there were no gold coins, no dollar bills, not even credit cards. Instead, they used a system called barter, where goods and services were directly exchanged. Imagine trading a basket of apples for a hand-woven blanket. Simple, right? As communities grew, they needed a more efficient system. Thus, the first forms of money were born. These weren't shiny coins or crisp notes. Oh no, they were things like tea bricks in China and giant stones in Yap Islands. Yes, you heard that right, giant stones. Can you imagine going to buy your morning coffee and rolling up with a humongous stone? One latte, please, and here's my boulder. Talk about heavy spending. As we moved forward, gold coins, paper money, and eventually digital transactions took over. Thank goodness for that. Imagine trying to fit a giant stone in your wallet. Now that we know what money is and where it comes from, the big question is, how do we get more of it? Well, the good old-fashioned way is to work for it. That's right, trade your time and skills for a paycheck. This isn't the only route, though. Let's take a look at a little story about a young entrepreneur. Meet Timmy. Timmy, a savvy 8-year-old, decides to start a lemonade stand. He uses his allowance to buy lemons and sugar, then sets up shop on his front lawn. With some persistence and a lot of lemon squeezing, Timmy begins to turn a profit. This is a perfect example of entrepreneurship. Timmy invested his money into a product, took a risk, and it paid off. Similarly, investments in stocks or real estate work on the same principle. You put your money to work, and if all goes well, it can multiply. So, whether you're selling lemonade or stocks, the goal remains the same: more money. So, you've made some money. Now what? Well, it's time to talk about money management, the secret sauce that will turn your hard-earned cash into a financial fortress. You see, managing money is a bit like having a cake. You wouldn't eat the whole thing in one sitting, would you? Unless you're some kind of cake-eating superhero, of course. Just like slicing up a cake, you need to divide your money into different parts. First, you have your savings, the piece you put away for a rainy day. That's like the cake you freeze for unexpected guests. Then you have your investments, the slice you hope will grow into a bigger piece over time, like planting a cake seed and expecting a cake tree. Avoiding debt is like not borrowing a piece of cake that you'll have to return twofold later. It's tempting, but it's not worth the stomachache. Remember, money might make the world go round, but it's up to you to make sure you don't spin out of control.